Hello and welcome to True Guidance Tarot. I'm Adriana Teodoro-Dier. I'm a practicing spiritual medium and intuitive reader with a message for Taurus today. This is a channeled message that I am receiving from my guides and from the other side. Let's get straight into it. We have the Fairlilt for the card that is representing what the universe is sending you this week. This is an interesting card in the traditional deck. This corresponds with temperance. So what we're looking at is the blend of two things. And this can mean so much. When we're talking on the soul level, we're talking the soul and ego. We're also talking the feminine and the masculine side. On the smaller plane, we're talking about two things. This could be like work persona and home persona. Or this could be the person I am when I'm having fun doing my hobbies and the person I am when I'm serious, trying to get a job done that maybe I don't want to do. It's about blending of opposites and understanding that there's a special alchemy that comes together when you're able to harmonize these two opposites in a way that works for both of them. And the other thing about this card is that it's a chance to really heal things that have been pulled apart. So I'm not really getting a clear sense of what they're trying to say, so I hope this is making sense to you. Things that have been joined together in the past that for some reason were torn apart either by a misunderstanding or by just the timing wasn't right for them to be together. Or maybe it's like a forgotten part of yourself or a neglected part of yourself, the artistic side, or the side that really likes to have a lot more fun than what we're allowing it to. That side has been neglected and pushed off. And this card is a chance to bring everything back together. And when we bring these halves together, there's a kind of, I think I said the word alchemy or magic already, but there's something special. There's a special kind of transformation or transcendent feeling that happens when you bring those two opposites together in the perfect balance. So it's so esoteric. That's the energy that the universe is bringing to you. So in a nutshell, we're talking about the blending of opposites. So anywhere where you feel that the opposites are being held apart and not integrated together, that's where you're being asked to look. You're responding with the Five of Wands, and it's funny, there's kind of an inside joke with this particular card in this deck. There's an inner story that talks about transformation, and this little chicken pecking in the dirt is part of that story. So what this says to me is that you are connected to this idea. You're aware of this blend that has to happen, but there's still kind of a fighting it. It's not a violent fight. There's no blood. There's no like struggle. It's more just kind of like, these are boys kind of just having fun together playing a game, and they're struggling a little bit, but it's all in the game of fun. So this isn't settling quite well with you. You know what to do, but I also feel like the bigger struggle with it has already happened, and now you're just kind of like, almost laughing at yourself at how much you're struggling with it because you know how it just needs to come together. So hopefully these next cards will help you to see and maybe release this struggle a bit. We've got, let's see which order. We've got the Magician going into the Death card, ending in the Ten of Swords. So this is, it seems small, but it's really big. It's actually really quite big. The general message of this is you have to let go of the way things once were. And that this is always the thing on the spiritual path, right? We're continually letting go and continually just doing something, shedding it, doing something, letting it go. But this is saying to you, the reason why the struggle is there for you, even though you know the correct thing is to blend those two opposites together, there's part of you that just does not want to let go of that old. It doesn't want to let go of whatever that means for you, whether you identify with the struggle or whether it's too safe to stay in one opposite or the other rather than together. You have to let go of some of that. In fact, you have to let go of all of that. And you've got this happening on many levels, but it's mostly in the mind. So that's why I'm glad you're watching this right now, because we can connect through this idea. This magician is pushing you forward into your new day, into your new dawn, allowing you to see that there is a new way forward. And you know this, like you've been feeling this, you know that you have been pushing your way forward. But what he's pushing you towards is the death card. And this is where we get into that letting go. You notice how both of these cards have cauldrons? And the cauldron is that place of transformation where you take ordinary things like plants and water and words, and you put them all together. You somehow not manipulate them, but you put all that together, and then you have magical transformation, right? That those herbs and spices and water all become something like this magic healing elixir, something that can cure an ailment. I won't go into this spells thing. I'm not well versed in spells and paganism and that kind of stuff. I touch on the mythology side of it, but it's the metaphor we're looking at. That you take ordinary things, you put them into this magical place, and they become something else. And that's what he's saying. He's saying, come on, I want you to go this direction of transformation. We're both wanting this. Your soul and your ego are both wanting this. All of yourself is wanting this. And it's just there's a little bit of reluctance to throw yourself into that cauldron. There's a myth, and I believe it is a Celtic myth about a certain cauldron that if you were wounded in battle or perhaps even killed in battle, they could throw you into this cauldron and you'd come out whole again. You'd come out reborn. And that's what he's trying to do. He's saying, come on, we want you reborn. We're asking for you. This is like the initiation of that happening. And he's saying, come on, it's time to come out a new person. And this 10 of Swords is saying to you two things. One, it's your mind that's holding you up from this transformation. And it's also telling you, you know what? The stuff that you were struggling with is done. There's no struggle anymore. Even though you're trying to make it a struggle, it's so lighthearted that it just can't happen. There's no reason to struggle. So let me give you your advice cards, because they had me draw two. It's lots of cards for you. 2 of Swords and the Sun. So do you remember how we talked about the rebirth coming out of this cauldron here? That's our sun, that finally you're getting that rebirth. You're getting that new sense of self, and all the success you've been asking for is on the other side of this. This 2 of Swords is asking you to remove, you see how she's blindfolded? It's saying remove your blindfold. And again, we've got that 2 path, right? The 2 paths. And take off the blindfold, because you're going to see that both of those paths lead to the same direction. And again, that idea of blending, when you bring those two things together, they become the same path for you. Your way forward is already set in the harmonizing of these two sides, and in the ability and the willingness to step forward in that new capacity as a blended, whole, integrated person. Everything, every success, everything you've been asking for is waiting for you. Everything that hasn't been coming is waiting for you. Once you take that blindfold off, you see that you're already done. There's no more struggle. And you just accept yourself as a new blended person, the one that can easily blend between those two opposites. That's when all of this clears for you. So it's really, these are self-imposed problems, Taurus. These are self-imposed challenges, and they don't have to be there if you don't want them to, because really the universe isn't bringing them to you. You're doing it to yourself. So questions about that? I know this was super esoteric, but I hope that I gave you the gist of what you need for this week. If you haven't already, I would ask you to consider subscribing to this channel so we can keep this momentum and this positive vibration kind of growing. And you're always welcome to comment, leave me a note. I love to hear from you. And the other thing is, you're welcome to check out my website, trueguidancetarot.com, if you're looking for some personal guidance. There's different offerings on there. So I look forward to seeing you next time, and have an awesome week.